I said, walk up to the window or something, you know, like, and she went up and she just lit the window, and I didn't, there wasn't something I asked her to do, you know what I mean? So it was great. It was like this beast being trapped in a house.
Cheryl mentioned that you're a writer.
I don't do that anymore.
Stuck for inspiration?
I'm stuck between wanting to do something and not wanting to do anything at all.
So you're here today to speak to the Picture House Cinemas podcast.
Thank you.
We are always so excited to have one of your films on our screens, and particularly this one, which is very much made for the big screen.
Right. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. It's a loose adaptation of Ariana Harwitz's very cinematic novel. I know Martin Scorsese sort of passed it along to Jennifer Lawrence's production company, but I'm interested in where you came in and what your first encounters with the story were.
Well, I got an email from Jennifer through my agent, you know, like saying she wanted to speak to me, and she wanted to know, you know, she said, please, would you be up for doing this? I think I ignored the email as well. I didn't ignore it, but I just was like, I'm on this different project, and I read a bit, I read a bit about it, and I was like, is it too close to things I've done before? And so anyway, she kept emailing, and eventually I was like, okay, I read it by that point, and I thought, if I find my way into it in the way I want to do it, then I'm up for it, you know. But you've got to just trust me. I'm going to go in my direction, and she was up for that. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very glad she was so persistent. One of cinema's great powers, in my opinion, is the credence we're able to give to the tiniest, most kind of seemingly insignificant moments, but to us that feels so world-ending and humongous when we're in them, and sort of asks the audience to bear witness to them.
Yeah.
We have so many moments like that in the film, especially when Grace is alone in the house. I'm interested in why you chose to tell this story through sort of a series of those sorts of moments.
I suppose my films have always been a bit like that, you know, like this the smallest moments, the smallest details that tell you the biggest things, you know. I mean, some of the scenes I like the best is when in this is when she's really bored in the house and she's playing with oranges round her boobs and, like licking the window and being a cat because she's so bored and she's not writing. When the baby's asleep, and also in the house when they're having a huge argument about just nothing in particular, you know, but just about the house getting like a bit, you know, like out of hand, you know, and I think these moments are the best in the film,
Yeah, and it's sort of when we get to know most who she is and what the problem she's dealing with is, for sure. You do a wonderful job of telling the story through sound. I could sit here and talk about all the things I loved about the sound design, but I would love to talk about the music as well, particularly John Prine's In Spite of Ourselves, which is the perfect song. So good you used it twice.
Thank you.
I am interested in, I guess, the whole kind of musical journey of the film, but particularly why this song felt so fitting for Grace and Jackson's story.
When I was within the script process, you know, a friend of mine who called Ray Birchall, who's a music supervisor, sent me that song, and I'd never heard it before. And the same as you, I thought it kind of felt like it kind of summed up the relationship in a way. And then I sent it to Jennifer, and she loved it as well. And so it sort of found its way in there, you know, and it worked. But I also thought maybe my backstory, they have a record player and wants to be in a band, probably lived in New York but weren't the richest, and she's maybe written a couple of things, and there's all this hope, you know. So it's the music's a sort of journey of the relationship again, you know, that little aspects of the relationship within the vinyl.
Yeah, and it's sort of not one of the only moments, but it's probably the most romantic moment of the film. Both instances where the song comes in, that it's this way of understanding.
It's a love song.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a real knack at taking your actors beyond their inhibitions. You know, there are so many moments, particularly with Jennifer, where she's getting real animal and kind of her carnal ferocity is coming out. When you're preparing for a scene that is so physically demanding, what sort of process do you like to have with your actors?
Well, it's mainly in prep actually that happens, because you're like, you know, you have a feeling that how would she, you know, how far are you going to go again? You know, I mean, we talked about, I said, you know, some of the things like, you know, there's a sort of feral quality of the character in that novel too, you know what I mean? That like, and I think that she implicitly understood that, you know, but I think a few times when I was saying, be like the cat, you know, and stuff, she's probably thinking, you're completely crazy, you know, but it was part of, you know, the whole preparation, and she was up for it, you know,
your book going, by the way?
Main character is about to batter her husband to death with a hammer.
Shut up.
Obviously, you got a perfect pair with Jennifer and Robert, but the parent casting really blew my mind. Sissy, obviously, always amazing, but Nick Nolte and what he does with those 5 minutes absolutely broke my heart.
I'm really glad.
It's just such a gorgeous pair, and they do so much with those roles and really ground the characters in a background. How was it working with this wonderful pair of people?
Oh, just amazing, you know, like a real dream come true, to be honest. I mean, like, Sissy, like, is one of, like, my all-time screen heroes, you know. I like, you know, she, like, Badlands, Carrie, you know. I didn't think she would do it, but then we were on the phone a lot, and she really wanted to understand the character, and she acted a lot because she's so earnest, she's so empathetic. And it was much more a run-of-the-mill mother-in-law that was, you know, in the scripts, you know, even. And so she added this kind of, I think, element of being the only one who really sees Grace. And the only one that Grace really feels, I think, a bit vulnerable because she understands that somebody sees her, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And Nick, where you could just point a camera on him and, like, just something happens. It's a kind of magic. I can't really explain what it is, and you can bottle it, you know. So,
it certainly is magic. It's great. We've sort of touched on this a little bit, but I really loved the injection of humour in the film. You know, we're dealing with such severe circumstances, but I do think when you're in these really absurd parts of your life, sometimes all your body can do is laugh when you sort of don't understand it intellectually. That's sort of what you do anyway. So I'm interested in how you go about finding sincere humour in severity without kind of going into laughing at territory.
I think Jennifer Lawrence is also quite a natural comedian, you know. Like, but I did one of the things right from the get-go. I felt it's got to have humour. You know, you can't. You know, like, it's just too easy to go, you know, that one side. You know, and I think that it really undercuts the whole film. And it's more of an experience, this film. So I don't think you can put it in a box like it is this one thing or it is that one other thing. But just those little. It was absurd sometimes, so it just felt like it should be funny, you know, like it should be, you know, daft and, you know, out there, you know, and confrontational. She's quite provocative as well, you know what I mean? You know, like, so there's I'm hoping that's there,
It definitely is. Was there a moment working with Jennifer where she sort of brought something unexpected to the script that you didn't really know was there?
Well, when I remember we were shooting the scenes where she's kind of bored in the house and he's waiting for Jackson and she's like meant to be doing stuff like that. I said, walk up to the window or something, you know, like, and she went up and she just lit the window, and I didn't, there wasn't something I asked her to do, you know what I mean? So, but I loved it. It was like, I think she thought, would you, it got to that point where I was running the camera, and she just like did it, but it was great. It was like this beast being trapped in a house. And so it really, really worked, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. It does. I mean, that's kind of an extension of the bodily thing we were talking about. It just comes out of you. You can't stop it, right? You reunited with Seamus McGarvey for this film. It has such a distinctive look. You obviously got the uncanny American domestic. But then these really lush, beautiful nature shots that are sort of really starkly contrasting. Did you have any particular references in mind?
I did a huge deck with the casting director. Actually, she does for me a lot of decks as well because we like photography. So I had a massive like catalogue images, and you know, and I showed it to Seamus, and Seamus and I did a lot of tests. We wanted this really kind of ethereal kind of night look, which wasn't like you don't know where you are. It's like, you know, and then we went for a certain aspect ratio that felt like quite trapped. And portrait format, and so I kind of knew the colour part. I kind of more and more was trying to get into the characters and find the colours, you know.
For sure. So we're obviously a cinema podcast, and you are, of course, such a lover of cinema. I would love to know if there's a particular cinema experience that you've had recently or kind of in your past that stood out as particularly meaningful to you.
Cinema experience of a recent film, you mean?
Just kind of anything you've seen in a cinematic environment that's really stood out to you, whether recently or...
Well, I saw Persona, the Bergman film, you know, which was, I think, one of the greatest films of all times, you know, on the big screen recently, and that was like still blew my mind, you know. So
when I saw Persona on the big screen, the people next to me were taking a selfie mid-film, and I sort of
my God.
It was added a weird meta layer to it in a kind of strange way.
I know what you're saying. Wow, that's wow.
It was kind of baffling and stands out as a kind of significant memory. Maybe not in a good way, but obviously what a film, and so amazing to see it in that landscape. And I guess for this film, obviously, we're so excited to bring it to our screens and experience it all together on the big screen. But why to you is it important that people go and see Die My Love in cinemas?
Well, I actually really find it hard to talk about this film, to be honest. Like, you know, say what it is and this means this, and you know, like, I'm a filmmaker. It's like really hard, and that's why you make films. But it's a very experiential film, and I just hope, like, it was really nice to be here at the London Film Festival and then see how people reacted, like, you know, yesterday, you know, because I don't know, it was like surprising a lot of it, and so yeah, I just hope that people just go in without too many expectations and see how they feel about it. Yeah,
it's the best way for it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for the film. I love it so much. All of your films mean a lot to me, so it's really special to get to chat.
So lovely to meet you.
I'll see you at the movies.
Grace. Grace. Stop it.
Won't be nothing but big old hearts dancing in our eyes.
Thank you for watching Picture House Cinema's unique video content. Hit the subscribe button to be kept up to date with our movie news, cast and crew interviews, highlights, trailers, and lots more.